Vegapunk has finally made his crazy reveal. The world is sinking into the sea. But there's no way this is happening all of a sudden. Oda must have planned this out for ages. I mean, just how long has Oda been giving us hints towards the world sinking? You heard that right. Vegapunk has finally revealed that the world is sinking into the sea, but it looks like Oda has been hinting at this world-altering event before Vegapunk's broadcast even began. Fans know that Oda is a master at foreshadowing, and his favorite activity is leaving breadcrumbs behind for us to follow. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the reveal even surprised me. I had imagined that this was the direction that One Piece was going to go in, right? The world sinking? That isn't something that I thought was possible. I know that the majority of One Piece has been spent traveling the sea, but the world sinking into it is not something that crossed my mind even once. But that is Oda for you. He's been 10 steps ahead of us this whole time and we didn't even know it. But even for Oda, this isn't something that can happen all of a sudden. There must be hints that Oda has left throughout the series. Oda isn't one to just throw a curveball without any hints beforehand. So let's take a step back and try to find out what Oda has been cooking all these years. One of the biggest hints we got way back in chapter 1089, when the chapter came out, we found out that the sea level had risen by 1 meter, and speculations was that this had happened due to the world governments using the Mother Flame. The massive weapon of destruction had caused the sea to rise. Although this might seem like a small increase, but now that Vegapunk has revealed that the world is sinking, it changes everything. What seems like a small, unimportant detail is now something that has changed the course of the whole story. It looks like this process happened once before, during the start of the Void Century. That must be why places like Long Ring Island exist. And since Vegapunk was behind the creation of the Mother Flame, he must have found out that using it had resulted in the sea level rising. It could be possible that using the Mother Flame resulted in a chain reaction that is now causing this world-destroying event. I mean, there's no way that a weapon capable of disintegrating entire islands in a single go wouldn't cause some permanent damage to the world. Was this one of the reasons why Vegapunk was deflected from the world government? Did he try to warn Imu about the consequences? Or did his warnings fall on deaf ears? I mean, it looks like the Gorosei and Imu didn't want the whole world to know about it, but they aren't terrified of this themselves. I mean, the entire world is sinking. You think that they'd stop using the Mother Flame, but no. Instead, they hid this information from everyone, and now Vegapunk has taken it upon himself to reveal the secret to the world. We first witnessed the power of the Mother Flame when Lulusia was destroyed by the world government. With a new weapon to test on their hands, the world government wanted to test out the power of the Mother Flame, and Lulusia Kingdom was the perfect candidate for this process. Little did they know that such great power often comes at an even greater price. And if Vegapunk is right, then the whole world is going to pay that price. After all, there is no way that eradicating the whole island won't have some consequences. The greed of the world government has led the world to destruction, but that can be the only hints that Oda has given us, right? Sure, the destruction of Lulusia Kingdom was one of the biggest hints we've seen, but that is not all that Oda has done in regards to foreshadowing the sinking of the world. Let's take a look at other hints we've seen throughout the series. Another hint that has been staring at us right since the beginning of the series is Mary Geoise. That's right, it's been right there the whole time. Only high-ranking people from the world government find a place in heaven that is Mary Geoise. Its position right on top of the red line was something that showed off the superiority of the world government at first. But now it looks like Mary Geoise is the world government's plan for when the flood comes. I mean, just think about it. Where is Mary Geoise located? Right at the top of the red line, the tallest point in the One Piece world, a place where only the Gorosei and other higher ups of the world government are located. And the place where the world government decided to make it was the highest point in the world. Seems just a bit too convenient, doesn't it? But the Holy Land of Mary Geoise wasn't just built in a day, and the world government only recently tested the power of the Mother Flame. But Mary Geoise has been a part of the One Piece world for as long as I can remember. So was the Holy Land made with the intention of surviving the flood that's on its way? But how could the world government and Emu know that the world is going to sink? Had Emu always known that the world was going to sink in the sea? Or did the world start to sink only after the mother flame was used? Like, let's think about that for a second, right? If the world government already knew that the world was sinking, then of course they would have used the mother flame without a second thought. And then the location of Mary Geoise will also make sense, because why else would the world government position the Holy Land right on top of the red line? They wouldn't do that unless they know that the world was already sinking, wouldn't they? If you really think about it, then Mary Geoise looks like it was built exactly to withstand the effects of the world sinking. Was the world government always planning for the flood to happen? Did they already know about this event? Or were they the ones that caused the flooding in the first place? But then again, these aren't the only hints that Oda has dropped. It looks like Oda had planned this out extensively, right? And there are more hints to the world sinking that we can think of. Now, let's look at places and people that are not aligned with the world government and their goals. It looks like even they might have known that the world was going to sink from the looks of it. Oda really is the greatest of all time at foreshadowing and using the environment as hints. Because even Wano and Zou are built like they could survive the world sinking. Zou especially because, well, if an island is a giant walking elephant, then it can surely survive the world sinking, can it? Zunisha is carrying that island on its back, and even if the world really sinks, there's no way that the island is going to be the one that sinks to the sea. Even Wano, which is originally located at sea level and is now way higher than it was during the Void Century, which also makes it safe from the eventual sinking of the world. But wait just a minute, right? From what we know about the One Piece world, it could be possible that this isn't the first time that the world is sinking into the sea. Let's take a look at Wano's history as an example, because we all know that the Wano we see today isn't the one that it was all those years ago. And that is not all. Even the Fishman Island is one that seems to point towards the revelation that Vegapunk has just made. Think for a second, right? Fishman Island protects the giant Ark Noah, the largest ship that we've seen throughout One Piece, and one that can withstand the pressure of being thousands of meters below sea level. JoyBoy promised that he would be able to bring the sea to the surface and help the fishmen get back to the surface. Now, with the world about to sink, we could finally get to see the giant ship in action. The fact is that there seems to be another great flood that occurred during the Void Century. This makes sense because a lot of countries or islands seem to have safeguards against any sort of flooding events. Like, just look at Wano, right? The old land flooded during the Void Century. Even Albarna, Alabasta's capital, is located on a steep plateau. Even if a great flood did happen, just what led to the cataclysmic event? Was it the increased use of the ancient weapons? Or maybe the creation of the red line, right, which led to the flooding? Could the flood somehow be connected to JoyBoy? Or even the mysterious Great Kingdom of the Void Century? Could it be possible that the reason why the Great Kingdom fell was because of a flood? We all know that an advanced civilization lived on the island, so how could they just be defeated like that? It's likely that the flood that happened during the Void Century was the cause. Then it will make sense for these other civilizations to have protection against future floods. It could be possible that this flood was the very reason why the kingdom fell. And now it's happening all over again. But there's other clues that Oda has left behind as well. And while they might be minor, it looks like Oda has made those decisions with the world sinking in mind. For one, Shanks and all of his crew consists of people with no devil fruit. Now, normally this wouldn't be anything, but in a world that is flooded and devil fruits may become useless, Shanks' crew is one of the only ones that is prepared, right? Moreover, even Rayleigh became a coding mechanic, which may be foreshadowing as well, since there's no way that Rayleigh doesn't plan things out as well. Oda has sprinkled in hints multiple times throughout the story regarding the sinking of the world, from environmental clues to characters making decisions that wouldn't normally happen. For example, right, the construction and protection of Noah's Ark in the Fishman Island arc are too specific to just be a coincidence. This giant ship designed for mass evacuation could be a direct foreshadowing of a global flood scenario, suggesting that entire populations may once again need to flee their homelands. Additionally, the ancient weapons known for their ability to cause massive destructions and alter the world's geography are being used more and more as time passes, showing off how they might eventually become the reason why the world is sinking. One Piece has always been on some level about history repeating itself, especially now that the world might be sinking once more. And JoyBoy is finally coming back. It could be possible that the whole story is centered around events that have happened in the past happening again. With the hints that Oda has been dropping, and the fact that some of them have been in our faces ever since the beginning, means that the world sinking to the ground is something that Oda always intended to happen. That alone goes to show you the dedication that Oda has to the whole series. I mean, just try to imagine, right, dropping small hints for something major about to happen over several years. I'd spill the beans in a second, but Oda waited, and finally the time has come to reveal the secrets of the world. Now, all those moments that we spent thinking about what certain things meant are finally coming to an end. We're finally getting answers to the questions we've been asking for forever. Now that we know that another flood might be on the way, all those hints are starting to make sense. Whatever it is that Oda has planned, we know that this story has been years in the making. Make no mistake, the sinking of the world must have been in Oda's plans for ages now. And now that One Piece has finally entered its final saga, Oda is pulling out all the stops, right? All of them. This is his magnum opus, and we're all going to have the time of our lives, right? So get your seatbelt on, because Oda is going to take us on a ride of a lifetime. I think that's all. That's it, right? I think that's all I have to say. And with that, I'll be taking my leave. But don't forget to drop a bomb on the subscribe button, just like how Vegapunk did to the whole world, right? And with that, I'm setting sail and signing out. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.